want to see someone protect the environment, healthcare, you know, get money out of the
political system.
The political system.
Absolutely.
Why do you support Bernie?
Wow. Because I am an optimist, and because I believe that we are potentially able to change things if we have a leader who is willing to be an instigator and an activist, as opposed to being bought and sold by corporate interests and special interests.
No TPP, dividing up the pie a little more equally. I think he'll not go to war as fast.
The continuation of a true democracy is a huge thing for me. We no longer have a democracy. We have an oligarchy. Our country is run by moneyed interests, people with money.
Because he's for the 99%. He's for equal rights. He's wants to restore America. He wants to give America back to the middle class.
And I'm not middle class anymore. It's difficult to struggle. So I really identify now with people who have struggled more than me, and I would like to see that stop, and that everybody really has a chance to live well.
Why do you want Bernie to be president?
He's the only logical candidate. It's more or less morally that I'm interested in him. You know, like a lot of the other candidates are just pretty dishonest people. And I like to smoke weed, and he's on the side of that.
How can he lose? I mean, he told us he was going to take medical marijuana, well, any marijuana, off the Schedule I list, where it is next to heroin. And I'm like, well, how can he lose in California? That's what I've got to say.
It was like 5 days after I turned 18, too. I ended up getting in trouble, and I had to go to jail, and I got a felony for it. You know, for having 30 grams of marijuana, and I can't get normal jobs. Sometimes I get a job, but then I get fired because they check my background and let me go.
I mean, I've been through the legal justice system. I know what it's like, and it victimizes people. There's one candidate that actually that even addresses that. Trump doesn't address that. Hillary doesn't address that. The choice is easy. Make the right choice.
He's the one candidate with common sense.
And he's the first person who has stood up for Medicare for all. So that's one reason for me.
Do something for education. I'm a teacher, she's a nurse. So
yeah.
I think we represent well.
Yeah. And have a good healthcare system.
I trust his judgment. I do not trust Hillary's judgment. And they say he has done nothing for the Democratic Party, but look at all the people he's brought in.
Bernie! 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 Bernie!
Everybody say Bernie!
Bernie!
Everybody say Bernie!
Bernie!
I'm 25 years old. This is the first time I felt like I can really get behind a candidate. I am from a generation where we feel very apathetic about politics because nobody represents us, nobody represents our interests. And one of the most common sayings in a lot of the groups that I hang out with is, any bad decision America has made in the last 25 years, you can find most likely a photograph or a video of Bernie Sanders trying to stop it.
Bernie, June 7th, let's go. Take it to the White House.
Trump is going down.
Trump is going down. Who's going to be the next president?
Bernie Sanders.
Why is he going to be the next president?
Because he's legit and he's saying the truth the way it is, and I believe in him, and all the generation Latino people, they believe in him.
I'm going out to the neighborhood I grew up in to convince and express my passion for the candidate who I think is in our best needs as a Latino community, as a community as a whole. We need to go out and vote for Bernie, and that's why I'm going to go out the last hour, the last run, to let them know that there's a lot of passion. My Bernie shirt, my Bernie pin. I have one here with the Golden State Warriors. Bernie was there. He loves the Bay. He loves us. Let's go out for him. Go Bernie. Feel the burn.
Feel the burn, Bernie. Vote for Bernie. Feel the burn.
Bernie is the only candidate speaking on the issue of financial equity, a major thing, and the importance that we have to provide college for all students.
Why do you want to vote for Bernie?
Because my kids need him in office this year or this coming year. I'm a union worker, I'm a healthcare worker, I'm a student, I was a single mom. Why wouldn't I?
Well, I'm not voting because I'm not old enough, but I like free college tuition.
Again, from the point of view of a Republican voter, Republicans are against big government, we're against these big spending programs, right? This is what we don't like, and it's true. And I find myself not liking the idea of handing over too much money to the federal government. College, to me, is something that we ought to be spending money on as a country. And Bernie's idea about free college tuition for people at public universities, I think, just makes an enormous amount of sense in terms of the country's overall competitiveness, in terms of our commitment to educate our youth. I mean, I've heard Bernie Sanders make the point that a college degree today is what a high school diploma was 50 years ago. And I think he's absolutely right about that. And I think you can ask people of all political affiliations about that, and that's something that we can agree on. So why, for heaven's sakes, don't we make that a priority?
And I feel like we're able to ask questions now that we didn't even know were questions that we needed to ask back in 2007, 2008.
I consider myself really sort of a libertarian, that end of Republican Party thinking, if you will. And to me, there are a lot of things that Bernie is saying that are attractive, particularly what he's saying about big money in politics, the system being rigged. I mean, we've got a situation right now where politicians from both parties are on the take, essentially. And there's a perception that that's what's happening, and it's a dangerous perception. It's bad for the country.
With the bailout, with all of the things that have come out with Snowden, we are able to look at questions that we didn't even think to ask. Like when Obama was running, did we think to even ask, like, are you accepting campaign donations from Wall Street? Are you accepting campaign donations from the fossil fuel industry? Are you accepting campaign donations from the pharmaceutical companies? Like, you know, you say you're going to do your health care, but you're accepting money from big pharma. And so all of these issues, you know, have come to light, and I think we're just a more educated populace in a lot of ways, and that it's time that we're all actually ready to stand behind a leader who is, like I said, willing to be an activist and an instigator as opposed to just a politician.
I'm now totally against, thank you very much, Obama, the fracking down by the Santa Barbara channels. I mean, that's just absolutely untenable. 22 oil wells are going to be fracked down there where the blue whales congregate. So I'll be glad to see the back end of him.
Why do you support Bernie Sanders?
Well, I saw part of a speech that he was doing, and I saw that he cared a lot about the environment, and I admire that.
Everybody say Bernie!
Bernie!
Everybody say Bernie!
Bernie!
Bernie! Bernie! Bernie! Bernie! Bernie! Bernie! Bernie! Bernie! Bernie!
My name is Annika Maxine Franco, and I support Bernie Sanders.
I'm Camille, and I support Bernie Sanders. Feel the burn.
I support Bernie Sanders because he's the only candidate that actually wants to create a change.
I love him! Oh, he's cute! I'm Marion, and I support Bernie Sanders. Feel the burn. My name is Pauline, and I support Bernie Sanders! Woo! I love him!
Feel the burn.
You got it! You got it! You got it! You're so good! Yes! Yes!